Comically large swords, everyone. Welcome to the Bad Reading Podcast. I'm Atlas Novak, and with me today is my co-host, the second Hetlinger with this name, but first in my heart, it's...
Chris Hetlinger. And we also got your other co-host from your other podcast.
Our guest today from Nexus at Night. Please welcome...
Matt Barber.
Matt Barber. Welcome to the other podcast that I do when I'm not with you guys.
What?
Yeah.
Another podcast?
I've been cheating on you this whole time.
Right.
And even then, his beard is more glorious than mine, so I must commit seppuku after this episode is over. But, so to new listeners of the podcast, we like to take fans of something and then read them terrible fan fiction about that thing. Matt, we like to ask our guest, what are you a fan of?
I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy. Specifically 7, 9, those ones.
Why those two in particular?
7 was... So 7 wasn't the first one I played, but it was the first one that I put tons and tons of time into.
Yeah.
And then 9 is the one that kind of just really... 9 has enough throwbacks and stuff where I just really like it.
Mm-hmm. And 7 recently got a remake, right?
It did. It did, yeah, and that was there's much ado about that remake. It was there's just much going on. Everyone was like, "What are they doing? What's going on? Why would they do this?" And yeah.
In your
so
opinion, did they do a good job or a bad job, or is it just a fair job, or is it something?
I think the remake's phenomenal.
Okay.
It's just that they basically decided that they're not going to follow the original storyline of the original game, which made some people mad. So,
it's not. I thought it was something like what Nintendo did with the Zelda remakes, where they just kind of up-resed everything.
Oh no! They remade it.
Okay, so it's not even like when Disney remakes something; it's like an actual remake.
Yeah, they redid the entire story and everything.
And
wow.
And not to mention, on your social media, you put up this picture of a frog on a sphere of some sort that I had no idea what that was from.
So that's I play this game called Final Fantasy XIV. It's a massively multiplayer online RPG, and I put way too much time into this. And I'm in a frog costume because that's just something you can wear in this game for some reason. And I'm sitting on a sphere that's named Ozma, but it's just a mount that you can ride in that game.
Wait,
it just
you
floats
can have
around.
a sphere as a mount.
Wait,
that is actually the perfect mount. I have a physics joke about that.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I kind of spoiled the punchline already.
Dude, come on.
Okay, so a geneticist, a zoologist, and a physicist come to this rich guy who's like, I would like to have the fastest horse that could ever exist. And so first he turns to the zoologist and he's like, find me the fastest horse. So the zoologist goes out, finds a line of the most speedy horses he can. He picks one of them and he brings it back and he's like, this is the fastest horse that I can find. And then the geneticist is like, I can do better. And he takes genes from all of the fastest horses and he puts them all together and he makes a new horse. And he's like, this horse is faster than any other horse that has ever lived before. And the physicist is like, no, I have it. It's a sphere. That's it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the sphere turns into a cube when you fly around with it, which seems not as efficient.
Yeah.
That's less aerodynamic.
Much less.
Yeah, and then it turns to a triangular prism if you're in the water.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So a triangle Enix in that case.
So yeah, that's what was going on with that. You have to clear some annoying dungeon, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I can't say that I know what's going on at all, to the point where you and our other co-host, Root Beer, you guys did a whole episode about the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, yeah.
On Nexus at Night, yeah.
I think we cut it short. I think we could have kept going, but it was it was already too much.
It was over an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The website we use to upload our episodes for both of these podcasts, Buzzsprout, has a certain number of hours you can upload in a certain amount of time, and then they start penalizing you for it. And that episode caused us to go overtime, so I had to pay $3 extra.
Oh, no.
It's okay. But yeah, if you want more about the FF7 remake, you can watch Matt and Root Beer from our Gundam episode if you enjoyed that, and a couple other friends talk about it without me.
Yep.
Love you.
Like single tear
Yeah.
without me.
Well, actually, it wasn't even that. It was like I knew nothing. Like I literally would have just been there, being like, "Wait, hang on, who's this dude?" And you're like, "You're not paying attention. It's this," you know. So let's get into the story. The story that I chose for today is on fanfiction.net. It is by somebody named Sardonic Grin. We'll put the link to it in the show notes so you can, check it out for yourself and to give the artist credit. The story is called Trampoline, and it says, title of story inspired by the song Trampoline by Sheed, S-H-E-A-D. I think that's an acronym. Chapter title inspired by a Lost episode. Enjoy this redemption arc.
Chapter 1, all cowboys have daddy issues.
I like how you were the one who said that.
I mean, it's like jumping out at me right there.
Yeah, all cowboys have daddy issues. We're off to a good start.
Does that mean Lucifer is a cowboy?
Oh, because Lucifer has daddy issues.
Yes.
Wait,
Well,
is
not all
that?
people with daddy issues are cowboys, right?
Yeah, but wait, is that what rhinestone cowboy means? A cowboy with daddy issues?
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. This place was for the wounded, the broken, a perfect sanctuary for the lost. An edge had plenty to go around. But the seventh heaven bar acted like a beacon, a candle for the moths to congregate. That's where Reno found himself most nights, at the end of the pine with a glass of whiskey and dodging uncertain glances from the red-eyed barkeep. Okay. And the other patrons who recognized his uniform and scowled at what it represented. A relic, that's what he was. The last of a dying breed that everyone wished would go extinct. And on the good days, he couldn't blame them. He pushed the button that dropped the plate. No amount of rebuilding could wash the blood off those hands. Not even acting as backup for the heroes brought him so much as a thank you. So when he woke up from the blackout nightmares, he thought it was some kind of penance. I have no idea what's going on.
So in the FF7 storyline, Reno is one of these people called the Turks, and they work for this corporation called Shinra, who controls the entire city of Midgar.
Are you sure they don't work for the Ottoman Empire? What?
No. They
Okay.
definitely work for the Shinra Corporation.
Okay.
And the Shinra Corporation was dealing with a group of eco-terrorists called Avalanche who were destroying the reactors. And in order to punish Avalanche, they dropped an entire section of the plate on the slums beneath it. So Midgar is kind of tiered in two ways. There's a bottom plate where all the poor people live.
Okay.
And then all the rich people, or all the people, who are higher ups of Shinra, live on top of the plate,
In
where it's
Elysium.
not as disgusting. Right. Yeah. So it's exactly, it's exactly like, oh, all these poor people down here, yeah, we don't care about them, so we're going to live as far away from them as possible, and so we can drop our trash on them.
Literally sounds like.
What's going on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're recording this episode on June 6th, 2020, which is the, first of all, 76th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. So thanks, Antifa of 1944, for doing that for us.
Yay.
But also, there's a large amount of civil unrest going on in our city and cities across the globe due to the murder of George Floyd. We put out a statement to please donate to NAACP and Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. So just...
Let's close the class divide.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. What were you saying? Sorry. Dropped stuff on the poor people.
Yeah. So in order to punish Avalanche, they separate so there's a giant pillar that holds the plate up, like it's sectioned off.
Yeah.
And they press the button to separate that pillar, and so the plate just falls on the slum and crushes everything underneath it.
Wow.
And kills lots of people. And Reno is the person who did this.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound like a good dude.
I feel like the city of Reno, Nevada would also do that.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain they would too. Let's just drop a giant slat of something on our poor. We don't need them anymore.
Shout out to Nick Kane, because that's where, previous co-host, that's where he lives. So
fun.
Sorry.
Fun fact about Reno: because declawing was still allowed in Nevada, a lot of people who illicitly wanted their cats declawed from California would drive out to Reno to get their cats declawed.
And just in the city of Reno, nowhere else?
Just Reno for some reason.
Why do I get the feeling that it used to be Las Vegas, but they moved it just to avoid confusion? You're like, I'm going out to Vegas for the weekend. Why do you have your cat with you? Oh, not the gambling, the decline thing.
Well, they'd have to keep it under wraps.
What? Matt?
Oh, I feel like they wouldn't want to avoid Vegas because it's really crowded all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feline AIDS, I hear that's a problem.
FIV, it is actually a problem if you have not neutered your cat.
Oh.
Spay, neuter your cat. PSA.
Bob Martin rise from the grave.
A lot of PSAs today. Yeah. Please spay, neuter your cat. Please do not declaw your cats. It's bad for them.
Speaking of bad, but on the bad days, when the poison he poured down his throat hit just a little too hard, he found himself wishing Meteor Fall had wiped out every last one. Those are separate lines. Every last one of those vacant assholes.
As opposed to filled assholes?
What?
I don't know.
Filled with what?
Viewer's choice.
I'm not even going to tell the story of my week this week. It just has to do with assholes. Forget it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Who burned holes in the back of his head with their glares of disapproval. And always one tough guy who had had a little bit too much and wants to impress the owner. Thinks it's a good job or good idea to jump him at the bar. On those good days, he lets it happen, smiling deliriously as weak fists meet his jaw until he's laughing on the floor of the alley through his bloodied mouth. It's very good imagery. But on the bad days, he doesn't remember. He usually comes to when he hears Tifa yelling at him. Am I pronouncing that right, Tifa?
Yep.
Cool. Tifa yelling at him to stop, and Rude trying to pull off his unfortunate victim, who's neither smiling nor laughing. Reno didn't really mind the good days or the bad days. Black and white, and hue is gray.
This is so this is edge.
Yeah.
This is the edgiest of edge.
I just like the idea of whoever wrote this reading a how to write book, and he's like, it's important to have morally gray characters, and he's like, oh, I have to point that out.
And he was gray.
And he was gray. There, done. Moving on.
I'm a bit confused about the setting of this thing because I'm not really sure why Seventh Heaven exists in this story. If it's post Final Fantasy VII,
the '90s drama. What's Seventh Heaven?
No. So Seventh Heaven is the bar that Tifa owns.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, and it's kind of the hangout place for Avalanche, the eco-terrorists.
I see.
And also the protagonist, I guess.
So why is he hanging out there if he was the one who was fighting against the eco-terrorists?
Well, it sounds like the story is post the events of FF7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or supposed to be.
Well, it's a
there's some not quite clear things to me because based on what happens at the end. But so there's the Turks end up betraying Shinra Corporation at some point.
Okay.
And so they're not really, yeah.
I mean, what do you expect from the sick man of Europe? I'm just going to keep making that joke over and over until someone stabs me. Okay. Actually, you know what? You take over, Chris.
Okay.
He was gray.
He was gray. The middle of being a terrible person, following orders blindly, and maybe just a little bit of sacrificial lamb. It was an easy script to follow when someone else writes the lines. Then, on a good day, the real hero changed the narrative. The last thing Reno remembered was a muscle man with something to prove sitting next to him, spouting a few choice words, downing the last bit of his drink and offering nothing but a shrug, till his face was against the concrete dirt and some middle-aged man's fist caught his eye. And Reno had to laugh at the vision of one of the more ruthless Turks on the floor in the back alley of a shitty bar, just letting this gentleman who had probably never been in a real fight, add fresh black and blues. So he's not fighting back, apparently, in any of these. He's just taking it. And he wished for a moment he was back when Wall Market still existed, and he was a rock star.
Wait, is it something actually called Wall Market?
Yeah. So Wall Market's like the it's kind of like the Vegas of Midgar.
Oh, it sounds like someone couldn't use the word Walmart, so they had to do like a cheap knockoff, like in a sitcom. Like, I'm heading down to the Wall Market, save money, live better. Wall Market.
Yeah, that's where the dance club, I guess. I don't even know what you call it. The honey. Oh. It's called the Honeybee.
Ah.
It is exactly what you think it is.
Okay.
Got it.
In the original game, it was a bit weirder because
blocky graphics.
Well, no. They kind of changed what it was in the remake.
Okay. Was it so? It was a brothel in the remake, and not a brothel in the first one.
I think it was a brothel. I think it was more of a brothel in the first one, and less of a brothel in the remake.
Okay.
But it's still, it still appears as that in both. It's just altered a bit.
I like how it's a brothel back when the boobs were low polygon count. That's when you want to show the boobs, is when they're like triangles, like from.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
You remember what?
There was a scene that they removed from the remake where it was Cloud being in a bathtub with like a bunch of like buff dudes that they decided to remove from
that.
I don't know.
As for me, super gay also.
The lead, but they made the lead of the Honeybee in the remake this dancer guy who's like very like fit and who kind of like he's the one who puts Cloud in the dress.
I enjoy that Honeybee has well, I'm assuming they're both women and men dancing at the Honeybee.
So Andrea, who's the guy who's like the lead dancer, I believe. Yeah, there are women and men dancing.
Okay,
yeah.
I like that.
And all the women are wearing.
I like that.
All the women are wearing these bee costumes, so they have like these giant like what is that
stinger?
Yeah, the stinger part of the bee out of the back. I don't remember what that's called.
Abdomen? That's stomach.
Is that the abdomen? Sure.
Thorax is the middle part. I
maybe.
think.
Yeah, so it'd be the abdomen, I guess.
I'm not an entomologist. We should ask our friend Hal from college. He studied entomology.
I'm too dumb to know these things.
Me too. You teach math at the fucking Naval Academy. You're objectively smarter than me. Okay. Whatever.
Okay. And he was a rock star. Okay. I still have questions about the bee costumes, though.
Oh, it's where Jerry Seinfeld got the idea to do Bee Movie in 2007.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is it like a full bee costume? Like, are they completely covered and they look like a bee, or is it like the sexy bee where they're just like wearing a bee bikini?
It's a sexy. Well, yeah, it's more of a sexy bee.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
I mean,
you like jazz?
I know what the stinger's for then. All right. And he could walk into any whorehouse and the woman would flock to him like he was the flame. Wait, what? Like he was the flame? I think
it was like they were talking about moths a few paragraphs back. Yeah.
You should have made. Okay, well.
That's not how you do a callback. Just saying.
Yeah. It's something in the previous sentence. And for a moment, he felt synthetic happiness.
Okay, so I can't help but notice the past 4 sentences began with the word "and."
Yeah.
This reminds me.
And.
You ever like try and ask your little cousin, little nephew, niece, whatever, what happened, and they're just constantly adding things on to the story. And I found them in the garden, and he was carrying a squirt gun. And he took the red cup. The red cup is mine, and he hit me. Like,
no, actually,
no? Really?
My little cousin, or my second cousins once removed, whatever that is. They called me aunt. They weren't like that.
Oh, I have half siblings, and they're like that. So
I
happy almost birthday, Maddie. You turn 10 tomorrow. So
Guess it depends on
Yeah.
the small child.
yeah.
The children I babysat too were fairly quiet.
Lucky.
I guess so. I really liked them a lot, especially. I mean, they were good kids. One of them was sick one time when I was babysitting, and I had to tell her a story while I was carrying her for her to fall asleep. And I tried to put my arms got so tired. I was carrying her for 2 hours and making up this giant epic tale.
That's a remarkable amount of core strength, and I wish I had a court stenographer there to be keeping track of everything.
Yeah, I know. Oh, poor girl, though. She didn't feel very good. But the next time I saw her, she was better, so. Anyway.
Then the man was off him, I think.
Right. Then the man was off him. Wait, so he felt the synthetic happiness.
He keeps getting hit, I think, is the...
So he's
okay.
imagining Wall Street while getting hit. That's what's going on?
I guess so.
Wall Street.
Or Wall Market, sorry.
Wall Street.
Oh man, I can't wait to buy stocks on Robinhood. Sell, 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 punch, punch.
Against the flimsy wooden wall that kept the bar together. This is not a good bar.
No, they're not. No, it's not.
It's in the slum. Well, it was in the slums.
Okay.
So, it's probably put together with duct tapes and dreams.
Okay. Like my soul.
Duct tapes and dreams that's the title of my stand-up album when that comes out.
That's beautiful.
Fuck knowledge drunkard. Fuck they told me I was wrong.
Duct tapes.
Duct tapes and dreams.
Or a band name. Duct tapes and dreams.
Yeah.
All right. When Reno's eye adjusted, he considered the possibility that he had passed out when he saw the non-soldier, had the man by the neck with one hand and his other hand on the hilt of his sword. Surprise, period. To say the least, period. These phrases
Wait, so
as sentences.
who the fuck are you, Gary Paulson? Surprise, to say the least.
Cloud Strife, the two-time hero. The puppet who took down the master had been missing from both Reno's good days and bad days, an absence that Reno felt when the alcohol hadn't clouded his brain. Somewhere beneath his chest, where his heart still thumps against his rib cage.
Oh, it's right next to your liver, I hear.
I guess so. He has a misplaced heart, where his heart still thumps against his ribcage that he neither understands nor desires. He begged for silence at the bottom of a bottle.
Wait, so imagine he goes to get heart surgery and they cut him open. Where the fuck is it?
It's it's down.
It's lower.
It's lower.
So they just keep having to lengthen the incision longer and longer. And oh, there it is. Okay, gotcha. Oh, he's dead. Fuck.
They would also unnecessarily crack open his ribs to try to do that. Anyway, heart surgery. Emotions are a death sentence for a Turk, so he can't have a heart. That's why it's in the wrong place. But he feels it for a moment when he sees Cloud illuminated by dull orange alley lights. The thump. The hint of life.
What?
Is this going where I think it's going?
I have no idea.
Don't.
All right.
This week was a cluster of shenanigans and not fun ones, so I actually haven't read this story before now. What would you say Reno's voice should be like, and what should Cloud's voice be like?
Oh, yeah, this is good.
So they're both kind of they should both be late teenagers.
Teenagers. One of them is going to be...
They both should sound like that.
Okay.
One of them is going to sound like a terrible Morty impression, so pick who. No, I mean which voice should that go to, Cloud or Reno?
Reno should be more confident, or Cloud should be more awkward.
Okay, so Morty voice is going to Cloud then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you have the silhouette of a late teenage boy anyway, so.
So who am I? Does that mean that I'm
Reno?
Reno? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is this is Cloud's line.
Wait, the touch him again?
Yeah.
Touch him again?
The blonde man's voice so dangerously low that Reno snorted, like a child playing a role.
And I'll end you.
The man managed a shuddering nod, and Cloud released him. He scrambled down the alley, his frantic footsteps echoing down the dark street. The Mako eye?
Mako? Like the shark?
No, Mako. So Mako is the energy that Shinra was sucking out of the planet. So Cloud, most soldiers, well, I think all soldiers, at least in the plot line, have been exposed to Mako, so they have like these bright green eyes.
Oh.
Okay. I thought Cloud had blue eyes.
Low polygon count, man. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Okay. The Mako-eyed man turned his attention to the battered redhead. I want to know what this guy looks like, and I can't. Sitting up against the building with that sick smile on his bruised face, breathing heavily like his lungs struggled for air.
Tifa told me you were causing problems.
Cloud walked in front of Reno, extending a helpful hand despite his disappointed tone. Reno spat the blood forming in his mouth and pushed the blonde's hand away. This is more of a me problem than a you problem, soldier boy. I feel like he would try to deepen his voice even though he's a teenager.
Who, Reno or?
Yeah, Reno. This is what I'm getting from the character so far.
So just like the kind of thing like I'm the leader. I'm the leader.
Yeah.
Yes. You're quickly becoming a me problem.
Cloud responded sharply, bringing his hand to the Turk again.
And you know who I am not, nor was I ever a soldier.
Sure had me fooled there.
Wait, soldier is an acronym, right?
It's written in all caps, so I'm not. I don't know if it's an acronym.
Oh, because they keep writing it in all caps. I thought it was like, soldier, but it's
Soldier's the arm of the Shinra. So Shinra has an army because they're a corporation, I guess. I don't know. And soldier is like their super soldier development.
Look, if Pepsi can have an army in the 80s for 10 days, then Shinra can have an army called Soldier. Which, by the way, least imaginative name ever. What do you want?
Yeah, for
What do
sure.
you want to call our army? What are you guys? We're soldiers? Okay, that's perfect. Write it down. That's...
Well, the rest of it's called security.
Oh, okay.
Soldier is only for the super soldiers.
Oh my god.
So soldiers are not just soldiers, they're super soldiers, and the rest of them are security.
Okay, so I don't have to say it with my chest when I say soldier. It's just soldier.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was mistaken. My apologies.
It's okay.
Sure had me fooled there. He laughed darkly. Reno hung his head and tried to wave Cloud away, whose patience was wearing thin. Go. Tell Tifa the problem has been taken care of. Have a drink on me. I have a tab open. Cloud rolled his eyes.
What's your problem?
He grabbed Reno's arm and aggressively pulled him to his feet.
You have a death wish?
Wishins for children. And I'm an edgy teenage boy.
Wishes for children.
I haven't wished for a damn thing since I hit puberty.
My ass, you don't wish for a thing since you hit puberty.
And it was wishes for duct tape. Duct tape and wishes.
Yeah, seriously. Duct tape so you can tape your freaking dong down so you can put on the gym shorts without getting a boner in 7th grade. I still remember. I will be helpful to my half-siblings when they hit puberty and everything goes to shit. I will be there for you. Why am I making Friends references right now? I don't know.
Because we had Friends references last night.
Yeah, but no one will know that.
Nobody,
ever.
yeah, nobody, well, they know now.
Yeah, inside jokes on a podcast.
Now you're privy to the
That
inside
seems
jokes.
What? Matt?
Inside jokes on a podcast is, pretty common for me and you, right?
That's true. Things like medium and medium.
Medium plus, medium minus, any of the medium.
That's like made its way just into my general vocabulary, and it's injected not a small amount of nuance in the way I talk. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's super
Is
convenient.
medium minus like the same thing as a small?
No, medium.
Well,
go ahead.
So medium is kind of like when something's like not good, not bad, right?
Mhm.
But like you could say like decent, but decent has like a positive connotation, right? You could say like mediocre, but mediocre is a negative connotation, right? But medium is just, it's just not good, not bad. It's just medium.
Fine. It's
So medium plus is like slightly better than medium. Medium minus slightly worse than medium.
Okay.
yeah. And like my family has started using it too. It's been very helpful. Because like especially in today's society with the internet and everything, everyone's so quick to be like, this is terrible or this is amazing. And just if everybody loves these TV shows with morally gray characters, our language can be kind of in the middle somewhere too. And it'd just be like, example, Flame Broiler is medium minus. I don't hate it, but I go there sometimes because it's okay.
I've never been there before.
There's one literally like half a mile from your house.
I know.
And it's like cheap enough where it's like, yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And they don't care if you refill at the soda fountain.
I also I know that there's a flame broiler nearby because there's a Subway like right next to it.
Right.
And I'm always like, do I want to try something new or do I want to be boring and just eat the same thing that I always get when I come to this specific shopping center?
With bread made of yoga mats.
Yes.
I had to like remember what Flame Broiler was in like the 2 seconds that you brought it up. I'm like, what?
Also near the UCR campus, which
Oh yeah, no, I just had to reconstruct what the
Right.
what the Flame Broiler was.
Yeah, I don't think I've had it since UCR. Because like I drive by it all the time when
I've not seen one since I left California.
Oh, there you
so.
go. Yeah.
I mostly, if I eat out, 90% of the time, it's at this one specific Thai place. I have no reason. It's just they have things that I know that I like, and I don't want to. When I get takeout, it's like I am too tired to cook. I'm too tired to think. I know that I will like this food.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just get the Thai food, and it's one of 3 things on their menu. That's it. That is the extent of my creativeness.
Not a bad way to be, and I'm sure with everything going on, people are just, fuck it, food, I guess. I don't really...
I also don't want them to go out of business because, I really do enjoy their food. So I'm like, I can support you while I'm being lazy today. You take my money.
I wonder if there's ever a place that's like, okay, this person's one takeout order saved us.
That used to be how it was because I used to only get one thing and then I branched out and now there are 3 things that I'm like,
3? You did it!
Branched out to 3.
Confetti.
Mostly because I started getting an iron deficiency and I needed to eat meat.
How do you know that you have an iron deficiency?
Blood tests.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just like, yeah, I can feel it in my bones. I have an iron deficiency.
You would be able to feel it.
Do you imagine if you could?
That'd be fucking awesome, wouldn't it?
People can physically feel when they have a vitamin D deficiency. It's just they don't usually know what it is. You can also feel when you have scurvy, but usually you don't know what it is. That's the problem.
Well, see, when I'm out there singing sea shanties to myself and my teeth have fallen out due to lack of vitamin C, I'm like, oh, I need to suck on a lime or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do with a drunken sailor? All right. Let's keep going. Puberty.
Right. What's his problem?
Reno dug back into his pocket.
Right. Reno dug back in his pocket. What is this guy? Reno dug
So
back.
if I can
Yes.
if I could describe Reno, let me help you out
Of
a
course.
bit. He is he has like spiky red hair.
Of course.
He usually wears an incredibly low cut shirt to show off his very clean chest.
Mm-hmm.
No, clean chest, Atlas. like pretty much spotless chest. So he carries an electric rod like fairly confidently.
Well, like a taser?
That he used.
Or
Yeah, it's kind of like a taser rod.
okay.
Okay. So it's like, is it like the rods from Legend of Zelda when you fight the Wizrobes? Is it like that kind of like the Blizzard? What are the
No. It's like a stun rod.
Okay.
I'm imagining like a
Oh, like-
telescoping baton that can shock people.
Yeah.
Like a
Exactly.
Okay. Like a cow prod?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Okay.
that. Yeah, and he kind of wears like a really like a suit jacket, but it's like really tight and shows off his chest.
Okay.
Because he has no shirt on underneath.
Very Japanese of them. I like it.
So these are both pretty boys.
Yeah.
And all right, yeah, that tracks for Final Fantasy.
I haven't shaved in a long time. Okay.
Are you feeling
Self-conscious that my chest is hairy? Yes, I am.
and self-conscious that you're not like a twinky Japanese bishonen?
No, not so much that. Just like I'm a very hairy man, so it's
Many men are.
yeah. At least I can grow a beard and your brother can't.
I hope he sees this one day. That one time he grew like a soul patch because that's the only thing he can grow. And then, like, I think the reason he shaved it off was he was looking like online. He was like, and just generically, like, statistically, that is like the least trusted of all of the facial hair options if you have a soul patch.
Probably because Darth Brooks has one.
I don't know.
Do you remember when he had tried to have like a secret identity?
No.
Okay, so like in the early 2000s, he tried, or the 90s, I can't remember, but he made up this secret identity called Chris Gaines, and they did a whole like behind the music on Chris Gaines, who is not a real person. Mm-hmm. It's Darth Brooks in a wig. Literally, that's all. It's Darth Brooks in a wig, and he's like,
I did not know
yes.
this.
I didn't either.
And he's like, yeah, this is totally real. And people are like, we know it's you, Darth Brooks. And he's like, no, I'm Chris Gaines. I'm totally real. I don't know what he was doing it for. There was no reason for him to make up a secret identity.
Just because he could? Just to see if he could, maybe?
I guess.
Yeah, it's just will people buy this?
I mean, Superman got away with it with just wearing a pair of glasses and slicking back his hair.
Yeah, but it was the 50s.
Sure.
We thought that like women on their periods was hysteria and that they should be institutionalized. So,
That's so sad.
well, actually, no. Superman was invented in like what, the 30s? So
Something like that.
Even
like,
more so then.
Yeah.
All right. Here, I'll pick up. Reno dug into his pocket for a crumbled pack of cigarettes, because of course he did.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was like, what is this guy?
Disappointed, most of the tiny white sticks were destroyed in the scuffle, except for the one little hopeful, mesothelioma. No. A good day indeed, the Turk thought, as he lit up and blew the black smoke in Cloud's face. This is a redemption arc. Oh, wait, no, it's your...
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
This is a redemption arc. Okay, so Edgelord McGee, he's like, what, 17?
Reno?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how old Reno is.
Okay.
Probably early 20s.
Early 20s,
somewhere in there.
okay.
But kind of acts like a late teenager, but a very confident one.
Okay, confident, early 20s. Yeah, sounds about right.
Yep.
Okay.
I like how he's telling someone that this is a redemption arc.
Yeah.
To their face.
Yeah, that's weird, right? How does he know?
That's either like an immense amount of self-awareness or zero. There is no in between. There is no medium or medium plus or minus. Cloud cracked a snide smile. Some redemption. I'm sure the guy whose nose you broke last week would disagree.
Everyone has their methods, he sighed. Disappear for months to sulk. I punch some people and get punched in return.
I'm not sulking, Cloud countered, crossing his arms over his chest. I have a job.
Oh, right. The hero turned delivery boy.
He slapped his forehead dramatically.
How could I forget?
The alcohol began to wear off, and the delirious feeling of swimming in an open lake was replaced with vibrations of pain that rocked through his face. His left eye twitched. Metallic liquid congealed in his mouth. He considered going back in, ordering the whole bottle, finishing it off, and smashing it over his head to knock him out. Did you guys ever see the SNL sketch from like 10 years ago with Natalie Portman, where she like does a rap on SNL?
Oh, isn't that the
No.
Lonely Island where she does a rap?
It's with the Lonely Island, yeah. And there's this gif of her from that song, where it's like, do you have a message for all the kids out there that look up to you? And she's like, all the kids looking up to me can suck my dick. It's Portman, motherfucker. Drink till I'm sick. And she smashes the bottle on her. So he's like, I'm going to order that whole thing. It's Portman, motherfucker. Drink till I'm sick. Wait. Finishing it off, knock him out. Okay. But Rude was probably waiting for him to stumble in and fight him back to his apartment. A splash of water to his face rattled him, murdered what was left of his cigarette, and then the pain was replaced with tingles glossing over the wounds. Water from the church, Cloud said matter-of-factly. I was getting tired of you looking at that face of yours banged up. Reno rubbed his face, narrowing his eyes at the man in front of him.
I thought you were done hiding in the church.
I go there from time to time, Cloud said wistfully. Made a stop on the way here. Figured you would need it.
A warning next time, asshole.
He threw the remnants of his cigarette on the ground.
Does he smoke in the series, in Final Fantasy? Or are they just making him more edgy in the story?
I would assume so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember quite exactly.
Okay.
If it, I mean, the old game, it's obviously hard to tell, and I can't remember in the new one.
Remember it.
But I wouldn't be surprised.
Say it with me now, low polygon counts.
I feel like in the new one he would be vaping and not
Right.
Pineapple.
and just no, he would like be the
Blueberry.
yeah, exactly. He would like be like hiding the fact that it's like some like child's flavor. It's like, what smells like candy? It's like nothing. I smoke real cigarettes, and he like has a prop real cigarette.
Either that or it's like one of those vape pens that looks like a cigarette.
Yeah.
So that you can feel cool. Christ. Okay. Cloud watched him with the expression that Reno hated. These sad, puppy dog Mako eyes looked upon the red-headed Turk with nothing but pity as he stormed the city of Vienna. Okay, I'll stop. Maybe even with a hint of understanding. Reno recalled when they encountered one another in Helen?
Healin?
Healin? Is that like a city or something? Halen? I mean, you could make literally anything up and we would believe you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I just don't know where that is. I feel like that's not the right place.
Okay.
Maybe it's like we fought together at the Battle of So-and-so and it just...
It should be Hamelin.
Hamelin?
Oh, okay.
Or no, that doesn't make sense either.
Yeah, but
It's... I'm not sure. I think that's a mistake.
maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe it was like a thing where you're trying to like write something you look at.
It might have
something
like
Yeah, I'm not sure.
auto-corrected to Healin.
Oh, that could be true. But it's like capitalized. I don't know. Who cares? How Cloud looked utterly stone-faced. Blank. But behind his eyes, Reno could sense the murky memories rising and falling like bile in his stomach. And he, at that point, pitied him enough he tripped out the door like a fool and let Cloud have that win. At least that's what he told himself. Reno, Cloud's voice was so soft it was almost patronizing. Are you really interested in redemption? What?
No, nothing.
Are you really interested in redemption? Then do I have the Jehovah's Witness pamphlet for you?
Oh my God, wait, I have a story about this. So I got a letter
Yeah.
in the mail that was addressed to me, and my mom was like, why is this like handwritten letter for you? And I was like, I have no idea. And I was like hoping it wasn't some like weird thing, and I opened it up, and it was a Jehovah's Witness, and they're like, normally we would come to your house personally, but since we can't at the moment, please, join us at, like, it had some website, and it was like, and hear the words of Jesus Christ, and had like something that was, some reference to the Bible, and I was just like, okay.
Somehow that's creepier than the guy showing up at your door.
It is, because they knew my name and my address.
And they took the time to write the letter out, too.
Yeah, it was like all handwritten. It was on like just one of those regular pieces of paper that you use when you're in like high school to...
Oh, like notebook paper?
Yeah, it was just
okay.
notebook paper.
That's even weirder.
Yeah.
They're dedicated.
They are.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, props to you, Gary from Sand Canyon.
Was that his name?
His name was Gary.
Damn it, because I used Gary as a placeholder name. I was like, they're starting to use it. That's great. No.
The same Gary.
The same Gary, yeah. The archetype of the Gary.
Gary is now a Jehovah's Witness.
Fuck. He just wants to do right by his kids, all right?
You have to keep the Gary lore going.
He's just slowly gaining character traits.
It's like a weird redemption arc over the course of this podcast. He arched an eyebrow.
Got any handy blondie?
Title of your sex tape. Cloud didn't respond. He waited for Reno to toil the question through his own head. Reno always compared his mind like swamp, thick and black and dangerous.
What?
What?
You know, like in Magic the Gathering, swamp is black with the cracks.
That's true.
His mind is thick and black and dangerous. That's what he's saying.
That sounds a little racist, honestly.
I know.
That he would need to navigate slow, avoiding what laid below the surface. The question floating like debris from meteor fall he never found how to use to rebuild himself or anyone else. Also, they spelled debris wrong. The plural of debris with an S is still debris. So,
That makes sense.
he just spelled it Debri. That makes it sound like someone's name is Debris. She
or it's like knockoff DeVry University. It's DeVry University.
Here at DeVry University, we offer degrees in cheesing people off, fan fiction, terrible podcasts, other terrible podcasts, medium plus. It's like that weird scrolling thing that is like, I got degrees in all my lunch tapes. What does that mean? I don't know.
Medium plus.
Yeah. And a good part of him wanted to follow along with whatever thread Cloud was dangling in front of his face at the time. And the bad part of him wanted to walk down that alley, find another bar that would serve him all of his regrets in a glass. But he took one more second to dwell, and he figured he'd owe Cloud this one for something he did could no longer remember, but weighed on his heart instead of his. Okay, I can't take this many prepositions starting a sentence in a row.
I know. And these are not even. It's not even just the sentence; it's the whole paragraph.
Yeah, like.
Your English teacher would just slap you in the face.
yeah.
Totally. Jesus Christ! I'm so sorry, Ms. Greenbaum. You're probably like all my creative writing professors at UC Riverside. I'm sorry that you have to hear this, but I know for a fact one of my history professors listens to this. So shout out to that history professor. I won't use his name. But weighed on his heart instead of his head, since the day he came to the bar and Cloud wasn't there, and hadn't returned until this moment, carrying a cure for Reno and a promise to clear his soul.
A cure for alcoholism? You get a lot of money for that.
This fall on Lifetime, a cure for Reno, starring Cloud Strife as woman with incredibly long hair for no reason.
Fuck it.
Reno grumbled.
I'm listening.
And Cloud smiled, which was so unlike him that Reno took another second to contemplate if this exchange was a fever dream of epic proportions.
So I'm used to the Cloud. The only Cloud that I've ever come into contact with is when I played Kingdom Hearts 2, because it's the only Kingdom Hearts game I've played. He does smile, like, quite a bit. So...
He certainly tries sometimes. Cloud is incredibly awkward. Like, if you imagine, like, a teenager who's trying to act cool, but he has, like, an image of what a cool person is, and not, like, is actually cool, that's kind of how Cloud acts.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah. No, that's like a perfect description for
how do you do, fellow adventurers? Then Cloud nodded toward the back of the bar in a silent, "Follow me," and walked in the direction without so much as waiting for Reno. The redhead didn't consider his move, in fact. He felt pulled by a force to follow Cloud. He took them to the back entrance of the bar that led to the private quarters of the inhabitants. Reno tensed as he stepped through the door, met with a darkened hallway with a bright orange light at the end radiating around the closed door, where the loud conversations of the drunken patrons echoed. Speaking of patrons, we have a Patreon now, patreon.com/badreadingpod. Seamless plug, 4 tiers. You help us produce the show. They're all named after terrible tropes from fiction, so I hope you enjoy that. But you get perks like a Discord server and helping us. You can vote on what fiction we read. Mm-hmm. And I forgot what the middle two are, but it's MacGuffin, Red Herring, Shoulder Angel, Deus Ex Machina. So enjoy that.
One of them is a title crawl. I can't remember which one it is. I'm sorry.
What do you mean oh, like at the end, like
Yeah.
You're I think red herring onward, your name gets put in the end credits. But thanks everybody. Also, after you donate to Black Lives Matter and NAACP. Moving on.
All
okay.
right.
His initial instinct to prepare for an attack. From an enraged Tifa wanting him out, or even Rude demanding he sleeps this one off. Cautiously, however, he followed Cloud down the stairs.
Did they pick arbitrary English names for these characters? Oh, Reno, that sounds like a cool Cloud, awesome. Rude, that could be a name.
Kinda. So I think they wanted to separate Midgar enough from Japan necessarily. Mm. So they just kind of picked these names. The Turks are Reno, Rude, Seng, Reeves. They're just kind of just random names. There's a lot of R
Reeves
names.
Reeves is a normal-ish name.
Yeah.
But Cloud definitely is not. Reno is the name of a city. I'm sure there are people named Reno too, though, come to think of it.
Our family friends had a dog named Domino. He died. They got another dog of the same breed and called him Reno for repeat Domino.
Oh.
So that's a name, kind of. I can follow along with that logic.
I'm talking about yes. Humans, though. I mean, dogs have all sorts of names.
Right. Yeah. Or how my dad named his dog Charlie because he has zero imagination. The point is that dogs won't get made fun of in school. Their dog's name is Struffles.
I tried to name him something more badass, but it just didn't stick.
Scruffles? I would be afraid of that guy.
Yeah, he pulls your sweater over your head and hockey fights you.
I was thinking Cerberus and other cool names from mythology. It's just nope.
He's too tiny and adorable. It's just not happening.
It was gonna be one of those ironic names.
Yeah. To see what Struffles looks like, if you haven't already, it's the banner on our YouTube channel. It's just him going. So.
Yeah.
All right. When Reno saw the room, he realized someone had been a busy little bee. In a small office that Reno remembered from late night conversations over a bottle with the blonde was a desk cluttered with piles of paperwork.
I'm sorry, now all I can think of is Cloud in one of those sexy bee costumes.
That doesn't happen as far as I know, unfortunately.
Sad.
I mean, you said he gets put in a dress at one point, right?
He does. Yeah, so they have to infiltrate this the guy named Don Corneo who has Tifa. Mm-hmm. So Tifa wants to get information on something, and so she gets taken to Don Corneo, who is a giant pervert.
Right.
And who basically just selects girls to do whatever, to have, I assume, have sex with. It's obviously vague in the game. Yeah. And then something happens to them. I don't know afterward. Yeah. So Tifa ends up being one of these. So in order to rescue her, they decide to infiltrate Don Corneo's mansion and be part of the selection process. And so Aerith, one of the other girls in the game, and Cloud are both the other candidates.
Mm.
Okay.
And if you do all the mini games in Wall Market, at their best abilities, Cloud gets chosen.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's pretty funny. He's I'll take the healthy looking girl, I think is what he said.
Healthy looking girl.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
It is
That's beautiful. I'm glad that there's a chance that Cloud can get chosen in that as well.
Yep. They just pull him in the bee costume, and he's like, "You like jazz? All right." Walls with black and white pictures of men he had never seen, and some equipment he had recognized from labs around Shrina. Sorry, he admired Cloud's handiwork, and oh no, that's you, I think. And what has the delivery boy?
And what has Oh yeah, and what has the delivery boy been up to these days?
Cloud placed his sword against an empty wall, pushed some of the papers to the side, and took a seat on his desk. Okay, now I'm imagining him in the bee costume doing it and just kind of in a sultry...
Yes.
I'm just imagining all the papers flying on the floor with the bee abdomen having to fit on the desk somehow.
Oh, God.
Meanwhile, Reno walked about the room, scanning the line of pictures. Men, older men, in suits that looked too nice to have come from Edge, moving in and out of buildings he didn't recognize.
Ah, now we know what Cloud's type is.
He stopped at one black and white image. It was a part of Sector 5 covered in rubble and debris that had not been used in the rebuild. He moved in closer, trying to find the importance of this particular photo. Something familiar. I've been investigating some of the underground labs Shrina has used before, Cloud began. Found some interesting artifacts. Reno grimaced, turning to the bottle. Most of these labs still require an ID.
You mean turning to the blonde?
What did I say?
Bottle.
Yeah, sure. To the blonde. Most of these labs still require an ID and passcode. How did you manage... Oh, wait. That's
that
you.
me?
Sorry.
Most of those labs still require an ID and passcode. How did you manage...
Before he could finish, he noticed Cloud holding up a small white rectangle card.
You bastard. How did you get that?
He charged for Cloud. Cloud responded, placing a firm hand on Reno's shoulder that stopped him in his tracks. Scowling, Reno glared directly into his eyes that swirled like the life stream. You really need to stop drinking so much, Reno, Cloud cautioned. It's messing with your memory, and I know a little something about that. Blink.
One paragraph, one word sentence.
Blink. Reno recalled a moment that fluttered through his head like a butterfly. Of being in this room, except he sat on the desk with Cloud between his legs, indulging the taste of his mouth. Something he never realized he wanted, but tasted better than all the alcohol in the world. And Cloud's hands running down his chest to his pants.
You pickpocketed me.
Reno shoved the offending limb off his shoulder. Okay, listeners, you thought it was smut. We just Charlie Browned you. I didn't intend to, Cloud reasoned. I was actually going to ask you to help me then, but...
But what?
Cloud sighed, handing Reno his ID card back. Not important. He hated the way Cloud's voice dropped. The touch of his sadness laced his words. He blinked again, waiting for his memory to continue. Instead, he met with the darkness he had grown accustomed to. And before he had a moment to press Cloud to reveal what had transpired, he has a manila folder shoved against his chest. This is yours, the blonde starts. Your file.
I guess I'll take over. Reno felt his chest tighten and teeth clench. He didn't immediately grab the folder or take his eyes off Cloud, instead narrowing his blue eyes at the man before him like an animal ready to pounce, tense, the air hanging heavily in the room.
Wait. I figured you'd want it.
Cloud continued. And why the fuck did you think that? Reno seethed. Cloud sighed dejectedly. Placing the file the red had refused to touch on the table. Reno stared at it. He knew what the contents were in a superficial sense. They contained where he came from, the location, the family he abandoned long ago, his progress reports, frequent acts of violence.
I think we should stop there because we're pretty much out of time.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, frequent acts of violence is where we'll leave you, and the rest is up to you to find. What?
I'm so confused in this setting. There's so many questions.
Why? Because it just jumps around from different points in the story, or
Midgard wasn't supposed to be super repairable post the end of Final Fantasy VII. So
I don't know. I mean, the problem is when I don't know what's going on with the actual IP. I have to guess, and then we get episodes like this where the person is like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's how you get our WWE episode with Matt Duckett.
And this episode.
Matt, what did you think?
This was a story. I'm not really sure where they're even going. Reno's character feels disconnected from the Reno in the games.
Uh-huh.
It just he wants him to be this dark, edgy character, but he's just not.
That's fan fiction for you.
Yeah.
Never really has been. I don't know.
So they're fulfilling their fantasy of writing an edgelord.
Sure.
Yeah, and they just choose Reno to do it because I guess he's attractive to them.
How would you punch this up?
How would I punch this up? I would I think if you wanted to do a Reno redemption arc, I think you can keep like his confident self, but like you can just, I don't know. I think the drinking thing is like really weird. I don't know. I feel like that's out of character also.
Is he too straight edge for that?
I mean, I don't know if like I would say that, but I don't think he would let himself get to that point.
Yeah.
Like I think he's too aware of himself for that.
He likes being in control of a situation. Yeah.
Yeah, like even when like he would want to control his own redemption, right? He wouldn't like just
let Cloud
let himself go. Like let Cloud direct it or let alcohol direct it. I don't know. It mostly feels like you should just stick to Reno's character and not put your own projection onto Reno.
And it's okay to start a sentence with a preposition every once in a while, but stop doing it every single sentence.
Jeez. And like,
okay, thank you.
Not okay. From time to time, you can have like a one-word paragraph that's like that's it.
Yeah.
Just do it once in like every chapter maximum.
Yeah, that's what Gary Paulson did in Hatchet that we all had to read in elementary school.
I didn't.
Okay, I did.
I had to read The Lord of the Flies and Flowers for Algernon and those other ones.
I did both of those in middle school.
Those ones were elementary school for me.
Oh.
It was.
I just didn't read them.
Sounds about right. Reading is hard, I hear. But Matt, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on the Next Night podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Wiggums, 2Gs, 2Cs. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And I am at stolen_relic on Twitter and Instagram, if you would like to find me.
You can find me at Atlas Novak on Twitter and Instagram. You can find Matt and I on Nexus at Night every week, every Wednesday, and also Root Beer. And you can also find this podcast at Bad Reading Pod on Twitter and Instagram. And please consider donating to the Patreon, patreon.com/badreadingpod. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Stay safe, wash your damn hands, and have a good night.